up? It's Cinema Shogun here with a major development in the conflict that is currently raging on over in the Middle East. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that we have talked a lot about the Houthis. The Houthis are a militia, a militant group out of Yemen. Some would even label them a terrorist organization, even though our president, Joe Biden, one of the first things he did when he was elected is he removed the Houthis from the terrorist list. I don't know why. But anyways, just a couple of days ago, I told you that Yemen has been threatening to attack Israeli ships. And I mean cargo ships, anything, not just military ships. And for the past couple of weeks now, the Houthis have been firing rockets, missiles, and drones towards Israel. And earlier this week, they even fired a drone at an American warship. So they're really bold. And I told you all, was it just yesterday or the day before, that, there's a lot of groups in the Middle East that are making threats. They're saying they're going to do this. They're saying they're going to do that. Most of them haven't done anything. But the Houthis, they're about what they be talking about. They're about action. When they say something, 9 times out of 10, they do it. Once again, I'm not here to tell you that they're the most powerful organization in the world, but they are an organization that we have to take at their word, because everything they say that they're going to do, they have done so far. Now, they promised that they were going to be attacking Israeli ships, cargo ships, whoever floats by. And guess what? Today, they hijacked a ship this morning. There's conflicting information out there about how many people were on board the ship, about where these people came from, who were on board the ship. We don't know the full details as of yet. All we know is that the Houthis took over a large cargo ship that was traveling in the Red Sea. Now, some reports are saying that there were 52 crew members on board. Some are saying that there was only around 20-something crew members on board. Now, the ship had left Turkey and was heading to India. The Israeli military actually put out this statement: the hijacking of a cargo ship by the Houthis near Yemen in the southern Red Sea is a very grave incident of global consequence. The ship departed Turkey on its way to India, staffed by civilians of various nationalities, not including Israelis. It is not an Israel ship. So Israel is claiming that there are no Israelis on board, that the people on board are Ukrainian, Japanese, from the Bahamas, that there's people from various nations on board this ship that the Houthis took over. Now, I don't know what to believe. I don't know if Israel's telling the truth. Maybe there are Israelis on the ship. I do know that at one time the ship was at least partially owned by an Israeli businessman. I'm not sure if that's still the case. Now, it's being reported that the Houthis pulled up on this ship with speedboats, and now it's being reported that they even pulled up with a helicopter and landed a helicopter on the ship. I'm not so sure how true that is, because it's hard to get information about this incident. And the Houthis haven't really been all out there talking about it yet. But I can tell you right now, this is going to be bad. If the Houthis do this again and again, it's going to get really, really bad. I don't know how things are going to go. I don't know how America and Israel is going to respond to this. I don't know how the rest of the world is going to respond to this. But there's a lot of international trade that comes through the Red Sea. And when you start messing with people's money, people are going to get angry. So I already know that the Israeli military and the Air Force, they've already drawn up plans to strike the Houthis in Yemen. I don't know if they're going to go forward with those plans, but judging by what happened earlier today, I would not be surprised. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if America feels as if it has to respond to this as well. Because we can't have the Houthis taking over and, hijacking random cargo ships every day. But they're promising that they're going to continue doing this. Now, the pro-Palestine people, they're all cheering about this online. Yeah, the Houthis did this, the Houthis did that. I don't think they understand what the repercussions of this may be. Because if Israel's telling the truth, there's not even Israelis on board. There's people from other nations on board. How are those nations going to feel about their civilians being captured by the Houthis in Yemen over whatever's going on with Israel? Now, in a time where much of the world seems to be against Israel, the Houthis got to be careful, because if you do too much of this, you're going to drive some of Israel's enemies, or at least some of the people who've been critical of Israel, you're going to drive them into supporting Israel. So everyone's cheering, but I don't see any positive outcome for Yemen, for the Houthis, or for Gaza or Hamas. There's no positive outcome for the Palestinians when it comes to this. You got everyone marching in the streets talking about ceasefire, peace, peace. And then when an attack like this takes place, they cheer and they're excited. It's almost as if they don't really want a ceasefire. It's almost as if they're just upset that one side is losing and they want the other side to back down, because they're cheering on the attacks of Israel's enemies, even when the attacks aren't even on actual Israelis. But I want to go ahead and dive into this article. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more information about what's going on here. The Israeli government said on Sunday that Yemen's Houthi militia hijacked a ship in the Red Sea. There was no immediate confirmation from the Houthis, an Iranian-backed militia, about the alleged hijacking. Only hours earlier, they had issued a statement threatening to target Israeli-flagged, owned, and operated ships traversing through the Red Sea. In the same statement, the Houthis warned countries to withdraw their nationals working on such ships to avoid their freight and to sail away from such vessels. The Israeli military called the episode on Sunday a grave event, saying that the ship was en route to India from Turkey and had an international crew without Israelis on board. This is not an Israeli ship, said the Israeli military. The office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel echoed that in a statement of its own, saying that the vessel was British-owned and operated by a Japanese company. It had 25 crew members on board, the statement said, condemning the attack without naming the vessel. News reports identified the ship as the Galaxy Leader, which bore no obvious links to Israel. The ship sailed under the flag of the Bahamas, a popular place for ship registration because of tax advantages, and is listed as a vehicle carrier owned by an Isle of Man-based firm called Raycar Carriers, according to Marine Traffic, a real-time maritime data platform. The company's beneficial owner appears to have at some point been the Israeli billionaire Rami Ungar, according to the Paradise Papers. A major leak of confidential documents that exposed a hidden world of wealth and ownerships. Mr. Ungar, who is routinely cited as the ultimate owner of Raycar Carriers in maritime trade media, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The 620-foot Galaxy Leader departed from Turkey's port on November 12th and was headed to India, according to Marine Traffic. It last transmitted its location on Saturday morning from the middle of the Red Sea, off the coast of Saudi Arabia and Sudan. Support for the Palestinian cause and hostility towards Israel has long been a pillar of the Houthi narrative. Since the Israeli military began its bombardment of Gaza, Houthi leaders have issued repeated threats to enter the fray. Last month, the Houthis claimed an attempted attack on southern Israel and said the group might attack Israeli ships in the Red Sea. So, like I said, everyone's been trying to downplay how dangerous the Houthis are to me, but the Houthis are like one of the main groups I'm worried about. Not because they have such military power and might, but just because they seem to be one of the only groups I've seen so far that are bold enough to do things like this. Now, obviously, they're going to dig themselves into a really deep hole. If it happens once, I'm curious to see what the response will be, because it's happened once now. I would assume it's going to happen again, maybe again and again. I don't know how long they'll allow this to happen, but I can guarantee you it won't go on for long before we see a response, and that response will probably be devastating. So in a couple of weeks from now, if you see Israel starting to bomb Yemen and starting to take out the Houthis, you understand why. And if we're to believe Israel on this, there's not even Israelis on board this ship. So the Houthis have taken over a ship that doesn't belong to Israel with, we don't even know. Some reports are saying there's 25 people on board. Some reports there's 50-something people on board. Either way, from both reports that I've seen, there's people from various nations on this ship. So I'm assuming that the Houthis have successfully not only hijacked this ship, the Houthis have more than likely successfully pissed off various nations, and I don't think that they're going to take it easy on them, and these nations will probably turn a blind eye as the Houthis get bombed into the Stone Age coming sometime soon. But we'll have to wait and see what the response to this will be. I guarantee you there will be one. I just don't know if it's going to happen now or if they're going to give the Houthis a little rope to do some more stupid activities in the Red Sea before they respond. But let me know your thoughts about what's going on down in the comments below. If you're feeling generous, you could drop a super thanks to support the channel. It goes a long way. Or you can support the channel for free by liking the video, subscribing, ringing that notification bell, sharing this video. And as always, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.